From Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, this is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reported tonight.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, Finance Minister Dr. Okonjo Iweala to present 2015 budget to the National Assembly. Federal government postpones talks with the oil workers till Thursday, but consultations continue. Supreme Court dismisses suit challenging the eligibility of President Goodluck Jonathan to recontest in the 2015 presidential election. And militants from Pakistani Taliban attack a school in Peshawar, killing 141 people, 132 of them children.
On business news, a court of appeal sitting in Lagos upholds an additional 1.24 billion naira tax assessment against Halliburton Energy Services Nigeria Limited.
And in sports news, Nigerian clubs face expulsion from continental competitions for failure to meet the deadline registration of CAF.
One of the biggest tasks before the National Assembly as they reconvene is the consideration of the 2015 fiscal policy document. And who will be making the presentation tomorrow? The Finance Minister and Coordinating Minister for the Economy, Dr. Okonjo Iweala. The 2015 budget is hinged on the $65 oil benchmark price, owing to the fall in oil prices in the international market. Our correspondent Lanre Lasisi reports.
It's the first day of plenary for the week. Federal lawmakers are back to work after a 2-week break. The break was to allow lawmakers to take part in party primaries. The Senate President went straight to the business of the day.
The uncertainty surrounding the global price of crude oil and its continuous fall has occasioned delays in both the submission of the final MTF and budget estimates, and will thus request your kind consideration of both these items together in view of our national budget calendar. We would like to confirm that having submitted these budget estimates, we are not proposing further revision of the oil benchmark price.
In the House of Representatives, the Minister of Finance was seen leaving a meeting with the Speaker of the House.
How did it go?
Excellent.
Is it about the budget? When are we expecting it?
Yes.
When are we expecting it?
Tomorrow.
Okay, what time? Have you agreed on the benchmark price?
No. Don't worry, the budget is tomorrow. Well, ask the Speaker, they are all there. Okay. Yes.
When the Speaker arrived at the chamber, it was straight to the letter by the President.
In consonance with the provision of Section 81, Sub 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, I write to request that the Honorable House grant the Honorable Minister of Finance the slot of 11 a.m. on Wednesday, 17th December 2014, to enable her lay before you the 2015 budget estimate.
The minority leader, however, raised a point of order on the matter, wondering why the President won't present the budget himself. The Speaker then ruled on the issue.
But when you read the Constitution and what is intended, and international best practices all over the world, and the provision of our privileges, the privileges provision about usages, precedents, and customs, then, Mr. Speaker, I don't think we should encourage such, whereby just anybody will come to present the budget of this country.
Of course, traditions are expected to be respected in parliamentary practices, but a situation whereby the public officer concerned has been given discretion by the Constitution, and he chooses to go the other way, and probably decided not to take advantage of the platform of the Parliament, where he's expected to make his budget presentation and address the nation. We must not be seen to be the ones forcing such a public officer outside the provision of the Constitution to say you must come and perform such a function. Therefore, on the basis of this, I hereby rule Honorable Femi Bajabiamila Minority Leader out of order.
With that out of the way, the Deputy Majority Leader stood to move a motion on the same matter. That was also challenged.
Suspend all relevant rules to allow the Honorable Minister of Finance to lay the budget, which is the 2015 budget, before this House. The budget estimates of 2015 before this House.
And I don't know when we have not approved the benchmark. MTech has not been approved, and we are saying somebody is coming here, not even the President, the Finance Minister, to lay the budget.
So my plea, I plead with you that we have received the MTF. We're going to refer it to Committee on Finance. That should not stop us from receiving the budget tomorrow. We first deal with the MTF before attending to the budget subsequently. Please, that is my plea.
That was then resolved by the lawmakers. Now, everyone will be waiting to understand how much government hopes to spend in 2015 and how it intends to increase revenue in the face of falling oil prices. Lanre Lasisi, Channels Television News.
And as the lawmakers debate, there's still the issue of the suit regarding the withdrawal of the security detail of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Aminu Tambuwal, which was adjourned today indefinitely by a federal high court in Abuja. The adjournment is the fallout of a motion of stay of proceedings filed by 3 members of KB Tambuwal Federal Constituency of Sokoto State, challenging the ruling of the court, which refused them to be joined as defendants in the suit. Our correspondent Amaka Okafor reports.
After several adjournments since the Speaker of the House of Representatives filed his suit challenging the removal of his security aids and attempt to declare his seat vacant, the case has suffered a delay. An appeal filed by members of the KB Tambuwal Federal Constituency who were refused to be joined in the suit is pending before the appeal court. This has made it impossible for the court below to continue with the case. In his submission, lawyer to Mr. Tambuwal agreed with the aggrieved persons that going on with the case will not bring about justice, but disobedience to the rule of law and superiority of the court above.
In law, having become aware of the existence and pendency of this application, it behooves everybody, the court, the parties, to accord the Court of Appeal or the higher court the respect. In other words, that nothing should be done until the proceedings in the Court of Appeal, particularly the motion for stay, is terminated or otherwise disposed of.
But the counsel to the People's Democratic Party and the Inspector General of Police feel otherwise. According to the defendants, the appeal is just a delayed taxes.
One was rather surprised because they had an application for contempt, and if they were anxious that the Inspector General of Police was in contempt of court, they would have been willing to proceed with that matter, which is a serious matter. But it shows that they are not serious with that particular aspect of the case.
The same people who brought us do not want to go on with their own case. It is surprising, but by then we have to follow the law. But the same people who brought us to court are the same people who are foot dragging, who do not want to go ahead with their own case. Perhaps to ensure that the case doesn't finish until their term comes to an end. I think that's the aim.
Having listened to both parties, Justice Ahmed Mohammed adjourned the case indefinitely until the appeal channels are exhausted by the plaintiff. Amaka Okafor, Channels Television News.
Now, staying with what's going on with the lawmakers, the Senate Ad Hoc Committee investigating the invasion of the National Assembly has begun its hearing. The committee today summoned the FCT Commissioner of Police, Mr. Wilson Inalegu, to explain why he ordered the National Assembly Divisional Police Officer to invade the complex. But in a twist, the Divisional Police Officer attached to the complex, Mr. James Idachaba, accused the security detail attached to the Senate President David Mark of firing the tear gas in the National Assembly complex. Now, more lawmakers in the House of Representatives have announced their defections from their former parties. The 2 major parties in the country today lost members in the lower chamber. 5 members of the All Progressive Congress from Ogun State defected to the Social Democratic Party. In a letter addressed to the Speaker, Aminu Tambuwal, and read at plenary, the 5 lawmakers said their defection to the SDP followed the crisis in the Ogun State chapter of the APC. Similarly, 4 members of the People's Democratic Party formally announced their defection to the APC, while another PDP lawmaker announced her defection to the People's Democratic Movement. Now let's go back to some legal issues. The Supreme Court has dismissed the appeal filed by a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Umar Ardo, challenging the decision of the Court of Appeal, which stopped him from joining in the lawsuit, challenging President Goodluck Jonathan's eligibility to contest in 2015. The dismissal was sequel to an oral application by counsel to Mr. Ardo seeking to withdraw the appeal. In dismissing it, the panel of 7 justices, led by the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Muhammad Mahmood, said the appellant has no business joining in the appeal, challenging the president's eligibility, as no law stopped him from participating in the party's convention. The litigant, Syracuse Njoko, had approached an Abuja High Court to stop President Jonathan from recontesting in 2015, but his suit was dismissed on the grounds that the court lacked jurisdiction to entertain it. Not satisfied, Mr. Njoko approached the Court of Appeal to challenge the decision of the lower court. In part 2, after the break, the Department of State Security Service, the DSS, parades fake Boko Haram negotiators. That's in a moment. Do stay with us.